to have a future at all. Grateful, grateful, grateful. I knew what I was supposed to feel. Vic and Julia and Lily are your family, my mother said, urgent to persuade me. Families stick together in... She hesitated, as always. In crises. Let them help you, David. Let them help us. Please. In a way, it was hilarious, hearing my mother sing the praises of her brother, Vic Shaughnessy, and his wife, Julia, because the fact was, our family hadn't had much to do with theirs, and it wasn't because Maryland to Massachusetts was too far to travel. We stayed distant from my mother's family because, in my childhood, my mother and her sister-in-law were engaged in ongoing guerrilla warfare. Well, look, my mother would say, ripping open a thick cream envelope in mid-December. Julia's gone all out on the Christmas cards this year. A Botticelli Madonna. Religious, but so tasteful. And she would fire back an envelope containing a construction paper menorah, commissioned from me, plus the contents of half a tube of silver glitter. Imagine it, Stuart, she'd say to my father triumphantly. Glitter all over Julia's clean floor. Eileen, my father would say, his eyes amused. Is this necessary? Absolutely. It was no secret that Julia disapproved of my parents' marriage and of our Judaism, my mother's in-your-face conversion from Catholicism, and in those innocent days my mother positively enjoyed disliking Julia. Behave yourself, she would threaten me, or I'll pack you off to Cambridge to live with your Aunt Julia and go to Catholic school with your cousin Kathy. At that time, Lily, 12 years younger than her sister, Kathy, had not yet started school. Odd that all these years later, my mother really had packed me off to Massachusetts to live with Vic and Julia and to enroll in the same Catholic prep school that Kathy had attended. I remembered Kathy vividly, though we'd met only once, when Lily was born. I'd been 7 and fascinated with my pretty older cousin. I loved Kathy's red hair, her laugh. I followed her everywhere that week she stayed with us, and she let me. She spent her own money at the corner store to buy me ice cream. She had been dead 4 years now, Kathy. Stuart, they understand something of what we're feeling, my mother had said to my father after Vic called and made the offer. I wasn't meant to overhear. Because of Kathy, my mother said. Because of Kathy, my brother understands. The words, back on track, took up a measured beat in my head as I went through Central Square and, following Vic's directions, got myself on Massachusetts Avenue and nosed north. At the umpteenth light, I spotted the sign for Walden Street. I signaled for a left-hand turn, waited for the light to turn yellow, and narrowly avoided colliding with an oncoming car whose driver audibly swore at me. My stomach clenched. I was too shocked even to swear back. And in that flash of danger, the few seconds when the Cambridge driver ignored traffic laws and barreled straight into my right-of-way, I suddenly knew something. I didn't want to die. Other cars were honking furiously at me. I opened my eyes. Gently, I pressed on the gas again and pulled onto Walden, and then, a few streets later, onto Vic and Julia Street. Like its neighbors, Hubbardston Street in North Cambridge was one-way and narrow, packed with tall wood-framed houses full of screaming kids on rollerblades playing street hockey. Confused by the kids and by the way each house had multiple numbers, I drove past number 87 and had to go around the block again. This time, I found Vic and Julia's driveway. I backed into it with difficulty, turned off the car's motor, and looked out at the house, and met the green eyes of a prepubescent girl who was sitting alone on the front steps, hugging her bare knees. Lily. I took a deep breath. There was no choice. I got out of the car, stretched my cramped shoulder and leg muscles, felt the bones crackle. Hey, Lily, I croaked. I hadn't spoken since ordering at the drive-thru McDonald's in New Jersey at noon. I cleared my throat. How are you? She didn't move. She was small, pasty-faced, and slightly chubby, with thick, shaggy brown hair almost hiding her eyes. Her chin stuck out, her elbows defended her body. I had a sudden memory of the last time I'd seen her on a chair at the funeral home, her feet dangling. Old and middle-aged people filled the room.